Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Shestakovsky, Vice President of Communications and Content for the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. And welcome to the Hall of Fame's Contemporary Baseball Era Committee Introductory News Conference. Joining me on the dais are Josh Rawitch, President of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, the newest member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, Jeff Kent, and the Chairman of the Board of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, Jane Forbes Clark. We're also thrilled today to have Jeff's lovely wife, Dana, joining us. And with that, I'll ask Josh to step to the podium for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Shesta, and thank you all so much for being here today. As you know, the National Baseball Hall of Fame 16-member Contemporary Baseball Era Committee met yesterday to consider 8 player candidates for Hall of Fame election whose greatest contributions came after 1980. The ballot was selected by an 11-member historical overview committee of the Baseball Writers Association of America. On behalf of Jane Forbes Clark and the Board of Directors of the Hall of Fame, we'd like to thank both of those committees for their thoughtful work. You heard the results last night on MLB Network, and the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee elected Jeff Kent to one of baseball's most elite fraternities. Over the course of a remarkable 17-year career, Jeff established himself as one of the most productive players at his position in the game's history. With a dozen 20-plus homer seasons and 8 seasons of 100 or more runs driven in, his career total of 377 home runs is the most ever by a second baseman, and his 1,518 RBI are the most of any second baseman whose career began in the live ball era. His 6 seasons in San Francisco included an MVP effort in 2000, in which he batted .334 with 33 homers, 125 runs batted in, and a 1,021 OPS, and an outstanding 2002 season that helped drive the Giants to the National League pennant. He earned 5 All-Star selections and 4 Silver Slugger awards across a career that also impacted the Toronto Blue Jays, New York Mets, Cleveland Indians, Houston Astros, and Los Angeles Dodgers. And now he joins the Baseball Hall of Fame team in our class of 2026. Congratulations, Jeff Kent. We are all very much looking forward to our induction ceremony in Cooperstown on Sunday, July 26th, 2026, where Jeff will be celebrated along with any electees who emerge from the Baseball Writers Association of America voting, which will be announced on January 20th, also right here on MLB Network, live from the Plaque Gallery in Cooperstown. And now, I would ask you to please stand, Jeff, and put on your new team jersey and team cap. Just Jeff here for a moment. This is lovely. I know, a little awkward. Sorry, buddy. All right, and you can jump back in your seat.
And before we open for questions, I'd love to ask Jeff if he wants to make a few opening remarks as well.
Scary. Are we going? Is it on?
We got you. Right. We got you.
Thank you. It's been a while. This is an overwhelming moment. It has been a whirlwind. I'll try not to get too deep because tears will start coming out again. I cried when I retired, and now I have to re-cry again coming back. The game has always been a beautiful game. I played it with passion. I played it with integrity, and loved every minute that I played the game. Grateful to the Hall of Fame for the consideration. Grateful for the voters that considered and argued through and debated through my career, and so grateful that I was recognized. I still can't believe guys like Alan Trammell, who I had lunch with today, that I'm included in guys with that name, that somehow, some way, my name can be in the same line as those great players before me. This is just an unbelievable moment. Thank you.
That's great, Jeff. Thank you so much. And we're now ready to take questions. So if you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand and wait for a microphone that Craig will be passing along. I will note that time with Jeff after this news conference will be limited. So if you do have a question, we do encourage you to ask it here. And we can begin with questions. Who'd like to ask the first question for Jeff? Question right in front here.
Yeah, John Shea, San Francisco Standard. Jeff, congrats again. You spoke last night that you implied that you would like to go in as a Giant, obviously, where you had your most success in terms of the plaque, even though it's Hall of Fame ultimate decision. Could you envision yourself being here today if Brian Sabean didn't trade for you from Cleveland? Because you spoke about, your relationship with Dusty Baker, how he turned around your career. You had a new set of teammates. You played with Barry Bonds. Would you have been here today if you weren't a Giant?
No, I would not be here, John. Good to see you. No, that was the turning point in my career. That was the no. My answer is no. That was the turning point in my career. That was, I learned a lot through my time with the New York Mets. Dallas Green was a guy that taught me how to be more of a professional baseball player. When I got to San Francisco, Dusty Baker, lit a fire under me to be better, not to achieve just this normal standard, but to achieve more. I think Dusty was a guy that really understood how to get the best out of his players, and I think he knew that I had more to give, and he fired that up. I made some physical changes when I got to San Francisco. The biggest one is I wish kids would learn how to do it more often, but go the other way. I learned how to go with the pitch, give the pitcher some credit. If he wants to throw the ball away, hit it away. So those are some physical adjustments I made, but absolutely, I would not be here without the Giants.
Hi, Jeff. Susan Slusser from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Good to see you again.
Congratulations again. You obviously talked a little bit about Dusty and some of the other people in San Francisco that meant a lot to you. Have you had a chance to talk to Dusty or Brian Sabean? And have you heard from people in San Francisco or Giants fans?
Well, some of you guys may know the inside joke. Brian Sabean was not an idiot back in the day, if you know that. When he traded for me, Sabean and Ned Colletti were there, took a risk on me and Jose Vizcaíno, and that was the tag. Sabean that first year had pulled together 6 or 7 trades and signees to create that team that was a pretty good first-year team. I have not exchanged messages with those guys. I did exchange some texts with Dusty. And I have over the years. We chat every now and then. My son still plays, so we'll pop off about each other's kids every now and then. And I'll get a chance to do that after I get through these 200 text messages that I have on my phone, which I haven't done yet. But no, there's so many people involved in my career and the progress of it, and I considered it a progress. I think I still played when I was 40 years old in L.A., I didn't know it at the time that I was one of the oldest guys to ever play for the Dodgers opening day, but I felt like my life was a progress. It started out kind of slow, but it progressed and had some meat in the middle, and still had some legs at the end. So I'm grateful for so many people that I can't mention now that were involved. But those guys were we talked about Dusty a minute ago, but Sabean took a chance, and I can claim he wasn't an idiot.
Jeff, congratulations. 17 seasons, 6 different teams. Any managers besides Dusty Baker that you would like to thank along this journey?
I didn't hear the whole question, but I think you were asking another manager.
No, I said, but yeah, besides Dusty Baker,
Yeah.
are there any other managers along the journey that you would like to thank for you to be here right now?
I told the story earlier today about Dallas Green. Yeah, I know he's passed, and he was a big influence. I remember when I was with the Mets, he had come in to turn the team around. Our manager, Torborg, had gotten fired, and Dallas Green came in with his 1952 spikes. I got to believe they were that old. And he walked around the locker room just chewing us out for about 2 hours. He had quotes and quotes, and what's been pinned in my brain is a quote that I'll never forget that he mentioned was head and heart. Play with your head and your heart, and no excuses, 0 excuses. And that molded me and prepared me to get to a guy like Dusty. But I'd say Dallas Green absolutely was a guy that set the stage for my career to start taking off. But I needed a guy like Dusty to help me pull it all together.
Next question's on the left.
Jeff, Brendan Cuddy with The Athletic. I cover the New York Yankees. Your son is in the minor leagues with them now. What scouting report you'd give on your son?
Would I give him about him?
Yes.
Yeah, well, he can't be as good as me. We fight like that all the time. He's always ripping on me. One thing that he had... Dang, I could talk about my kids. He always thought he could be better than me because he's always said, Dad, you're not in the Hall of Fame. So after your call, I hugged him and said, good luck. But the scouting report is I tried to teach him a lot of what I failed at early in my career, which is to go the other way. I didn't want him to be a power guy. And one of the knocks that he had before he got drafted by the Yankees, he didn't have a lot of power. And he was talked about out of high school, too, a lot of doubles, but no power. And I said, there's a reason why. I was in the background trying not to be his agent, but I said, there's a reason why he doesn't have power. Just trust me. And he'll have power. But the thing is he can go the other way, go with the ball. He's a little stubborn right now because he wants to be a big leaguer because he's with the Yankees. But that would be a scouting report is he can take the ball, keep his hands inside the ball, and go to all fields. And he's not intimidated. He's got a little prick like me, but he's a lot like his mother sitting right here, too. So there's some good in him, not all the bad.
And also, I wasn't around in San Francisco back with Sabian and all that kind of stuff, but you're talking about Sabian wasn't an idiot. What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
I'm sorry.
You said that Sabian wasn't an idiot for trading for you. What's that phraseology about?
So when Brian Sabian was making some trades back in '97, the media had ripped on him because he had traded Matt Williams for Jeff Kent and Jose Vizcaino. And Matt Williams was rightfully so, a poster boy for the San Francisco Giants, had great years. And the media had called him an idiot. And his comment back to him saying, I'm not an idiot, just wait, just watch. And it wasn't solely about me, but he had made other trades too. That was the combination of that good team that he put together. And, that was the beginning of the Giants turning the table and creating at the time a dynasty, and ultimately we missed out, the Game 7 losers in the World Series, but ultimately propelling the Giants to win 3 World Series rings thanks to a guy that's sitting back there and Buster Posey.
All the way down on the right-hand side, Craig. Thank you.
Hey, Jeff. Shai Davidi from Sportsnet in Toronto. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to take you back to '92 when you got traded from the Blue Jays to the Mets. You were a young player, started establishing yourself with the Blue Jays. How did you process that trade at the time, and what did you think as the Blue Jays went on that postseason run afterwards?
I was absolutely disappointed that I was traded in '92 because Dave Winfield had taken me under his wing and and I was the only rookie on the team, and all those awesome players on that 92 Blue Jay team were great to me, and I was the utility player for that team. So, geez, I did everything from catching bullpens to warming up guys. Warming up Tom Hankey in the ninth inning was one of the worst things I ever had to do in my life as a baseball player. To being a bat boy, to Roberto Alomar hitting his head on the wall in the bathroom so he couldn't go out in the sixth inning, so they yell at me to go out and play second base. That was a great experience, and so they traded me for David Cone, and honestly, I had no idea what the National League was all about. I had the wife go get me a newspaper downstairs when Cito Gaston called me at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, "You're being traded to the Mets. You better pack your bags because they want you there tomorrow so you can play," which tomorrow was the same day. That was part of the turning point for me to play every day, because I didn't in '92. And I got 86 games in with the Blue Jays that year, and I was ultimately grateful that people even knew who I was, that I could be traded for a guy like Coney. What a great player he was, and he was one of the pieces that helped them win the World Series in '92. But I'm grateful that people recognized me and knew that I could do something, and the Mets did at that time, and that allowed me to be a starter every day.
You mentioned that willingness to do a bit of everything. How did that factor into your reflection on the opportunity? Because Kelly Gruber was there, Alomar was there. They had a lot of pieces in place. There wasn't a clear pathway to playing time there for you.
Yeah, I think I get the gist of your question. I couldn't quite hear you, but the pathway for me to play every day was something I always wanted. I thought I was better than just a utility player. I wasn't a natural second baseman. The Blue Jays had taught me how to play second base before they traded for Alomar, and that kind of blocked me off from getting into the big leagues. I was a big guy that had a little bit of power, so they thought I was a third baseman, and Gruber had signed a big deal there. And so I was trying to find a way, but everybody else was controlling that way. I didn't really have anything to do with it. Grateful that the Mets took a shot on me. They wrote a book, The Worst Team Money Can Buy, in '92, and I happen to say I'm part of that book, or sad to say I'm part of that book. But it was a great experience for me to understand that the game is way bigger than me, and I've got to roll with the punches, and I did, and had, I thought were pretty, about four and a half good years in New York before I was traded away for a bad trade, by the way. I was traded for, you may not have questions, I'll answer. I was traded 3 times for some big players. Coney, my first trade, Carlos Baerga, and then Matt Williams. And I was part of all 3 of those trades, and those were big trades during my whole, about almost 20-year career.
Go back to John in the front.
Hey, Jeff, could you see yourself being, assuming maybe a role in the organization to some degree? You used to come out to spring training, and then they stopped doing that, and then Buster brought that back, kind of embraced the former guys in spring training to be part of the learning process for the younger players. Do you see yourself, or could you see yourself in a role like that? Would you like to be more involved in the organization?
Well, first, I'm a dad, and right now the dad's wearing a Yankees hat. So I don't know if the San Francisco let me wear. Posey, can I wear a Yankees hat spring training? San Francisco's got some great people, and I loved it. I loved everything that I did there. I went to Berkeley, knew the Bay Area well. I grew up in California, even though it was Southern California. I had a good time going back to San Francisco and working with the kids there. That era has changed now. Since I'm so far away, I've been chasing my own kid, training him and teaching him, and now I'm stuck chasing 4 grandkids. Yeah. So it's going to be hard for me to get on an airplane, but you can ask my wife that when you're done, because I don't think that's going to go over very well.
And since the Giants moved west, I believe they've had 5 players who spent most of their career in San Francisco or spent the best part of their career in San Francisco. who became Hall of Famers. I mean, Mays, McCovey, Cepeda, Perry, Marichal, and now Jeff Kent. What do you think when you hear that? How does that sound?
No, I saw Marichal again. That as I mentioned in my opening, there's no way you could see there's no way that I can see. I'm a mechanical guy, and science too, mechanical and science. I can't control my emotions, so I'm not an emotional guy, but I guess I am. There's no way in the world that you can write my name down and pin it next to those types of names. It doesn't calculate with me, and I'm a guy that wants to calculate things. And I still to this day, it's been 24 hours now. There's no way. Maybe I'll get there. Maybe. But I know the things that I did over my career mattered. That's why I cried at my retirement, because I love the game so much. And I'm grateful for people that recognized it, argued it, thought that I was good enough to be pinned with those guys. I guess a lot of gratitude. So I don't know if that answers your question, but you got some tears out of me. Good job.
We have time for just a couple more questions, and we're going back to the left-hand side.
Jeff, I feel bad to follow that one with this one, but you sit there.
Say again?
I said I feel bad to follow that one with this one.
Oh, yeah, good luck.
You sit there today in that jersey and that cap and having achieved pretty much everything a ball player could hope to achieve in a career, but you also hold the key to one of the fun mysteries of baseball over the last 20 years. What happened with the truck? Can you tell us now?
The truck.
Can you tell us now?
Well, that'll die with me. But what you think happened, there's some truth to it. And what did happen, what I said happened, there's some truth to that. I don't know how to color the story any better, but I get beat up by my wife and my kids about that story all the time. So maybe that answers your question. But I was ready to play opening day. I got put on the DL, so I missed it. There's a little bitterness on my end about that one too, but that's all right.
With the center here.
That's a tough question. You got me off guard there.
Jeff, you spent most years with the Giants, but your last 4 seasons were with the Dodgers. You had an all-star season, hit 73 home runs. What do you remember most from that time with L.A., and would you be here without that stretch to end your career there?
You know, L.A. was a great – I didn't think I was going to play that long. I thought I was going to go to Houston and play a couple years, tried to sign as a free agent for a couple more years, and it didn't happen. And Batista with L.A. had signed me to play, and it was a great opportunity because I was going back home. I grew up in Southern California. I bought front row tickets from my parents to come to the games every day and watch me play. So the 2 years led to 4 years in LA, and it was Southern California, great weather, good fans. You know, I got to go home where I grew up a few times, and maybe that's why I played till I was 40. And not a lot of people know the story, but my brain I lost my brain. And there were some players that had told me that your physicality may not get you out of the game, but your brain is going to do that. And I remember a moment, it's sad to say, because I was, you know, a professional, as I'm playing second base in LA. A guy hits a ball, don't remember who hit it. A guy hits a ball to right field, and I never saw the ball. I'm looking at home plate, I'm jumping, and he hit the ball, and I hear it hit, and I didn't see it, and I had no idea what was going on. I look at my teammates, and they're all going out towards right field. So I run out to right field and catch the ball from the outfielder, and it was no big deal. And I never saw the ball. And I knew at that moment I was done. My brain was gone. I couldn't focus anymore. And I wasn't crying at that moment as I am now, but I knew that that was it for me. And that never happened again, but that was a great cap. That was a great cap to the end of my career. I got to play for Torrey, great manager with Joe Torrey, and got to finish out with Nomar Garcia-Parra was there too. I played with him a little bit, and I got to play with Maddox and Oral Hershiser, guys that I watched play, guys that I frustrated the hell out of me, and Maddox, and just realized that that there was nothing else I needed to do. Now, hopefully that answers your question, bud.
Then the back row on the left.
Hey, Jeff. When we see guys who have, let's call it an intense playing personality on the field, sometimes on the outside we go, how much does he enjoy it? When you play for 20 years and maybe it was an edge, and there are guys who said, I need to play with an edge, can you just talk about the enjoyment of the game? I don't think we actually hear guys talk about that enough, about how much you enjoyed. The fun is a word that sort of doesn't get brought up a lot. Can you just talk about the fun and the enjoyment you got out of the game?
Repeat that last second.
Yeah,
part?
can you just talk about the fun and the enjoyment of baseball? Because sometimes we say, guys, oh, he's just intense. But there's got to be the other part of it that we maybe don't talk about or see.
Yeah. Thanks for coloring that for me. But I think a lot of times throughout my career, people thought I took the game too serious at times. And I processed, I think, and there are a lot of times, and I made a quote to myself that there were a lot of things that I had done because I didn't want people, and it was a cliche, but I didn't want people to get into my house. I didn't want people to get into my brain because I wanted to focus on the game. I took the game too serious. I didn't have too much fun on the field. But I did, in a sense that, the game, I always looked at the game. I'm a half-empty guy. I'm not a half-full guy. I'm a half-empty guy. I'm always looking for the problems. I always wanted to fix the problems. Can't get a hit today? Why didn't you get a hit? You got 3 hits? Well, you should be happy you got 3 out of 4 hits. I wasn't happy. Why did I not get that 4th hit? If I made an error, why did I make that error? Oh, well, it didn't cost a run. Well, I still made an error. Why did I make that error? So for me, growing up, my dad was a police officer, fairly strict in our family. For me, that was fun. And it may not be fun, jovial, laugh, and stuff. And sometimes we had that in the locker room. And, sometimes people called me not a very good teammate because I didn't have a lot of fun in the locker rooms and go out and hang out with the boys. But fun for me was trying to solve that math problem that was almost unsolvable. And that was the challenge that I think that brought me back every year and allowed me to be consistent, especially in my MVP year when everybody in the stands is running their mouths, MVP, MVP, and you try to block that out. And people used to say, well, just have fun. Well, for me, fun didn't come first. Winning came first. And if you then won, then you could have fun. I was telling my wife on the way over here that this election in the Hall of Fame is it. I'm done. And I said, but there's still a piece missing. And a couple of you guys out here, especially Posey, has experienced this more than a couple times, is I missed out on the one opportunity of the most fun ever, which is sitting on the floor in the locker room after you just won the last game of the season, which is the World Series. When you're done throwing the champagne on everybody and you're done bragging about everything, you're done doing the interviews, and you're just filthy and dirty and wet, and you just sit on the floor and have this moment of completeness. that has to be the ultimate fun. I never got to experience that, and I miss that. But along the way, did I have fun? Yeah, but I still feel a little incomplete. But today, there's no more. That's it. This is it. I am done. So maybe I'll have fun tomorrow. I don't know if this answers your question, but that's how my twisted brain works. But that's all I got for you, brother. Thank you, man.
And our final question, all the way on the left. Just hang on for that microphone.
Jeff, with the system that you went through and having to wait through the writers not voting for you, now you see the committee voting you in. Do you feel good about the fact that this system, this baseball system, finally worked and you got what was due you?
You know, we as athletes, and especially me as a baseball player, I don't think I'm due anything. But to answer your question specifically, I think for me, yesterday, talking about this with my wife, that was the hardest moment to get through, which is, I really think that this is more valuable to me. And not to discredit the media. I know I've rubbed you guys the wrong way a lot and often. But it was, we didn't play for the media. We played for the fans. We played against each other as teammates. We played for the owners of those organizations because it's an entertainment business. Now, to have this panel be consistent of, you know, former players that I necessarily didn't play against but watched me, a few media, and then, you know, the corporate, which I call the corporate people involved in the team, to have those people spend hours arguing about me and if I'm worthy enough to do that, it doesn't overshadow, I think, the original ballot. I was on for 10 years, but personally, those are the people that I played for. The legacy that guys like Alan Trammell left, Ryan Sandberg, who's not here. Here's the last one. That you try to carry on the tradition or be better than them because they set the standard, which was pretty high. Ryan Sandberg was probably the guy because he was a second baseman that I wanted to be better than because that's just our competitive nature. You know, you play for those guys. You don't want to disappoint those guys. You want to carry on this game that's given back so much to me. So to have those people ultimately vote for me and acknowledge the things that I did was the worst part about the last 24 hours.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you for sharing those thoughts. And thanks, everyone, for joining us today as we honor the newest member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Jeff Kent will be... Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Jeff will be formally inducted into the Hall of Fame on Sunday, July 26th in Cooperstown, along with any electees that emerge from the BBWAA balloting. And those results will be announced on MLB Network on January 20th. We hope to see you all at induction weekend. Thanks so much.